When the diss track of the summer dropped, everyone thought it was over for him.
No, not Drake. Different beef.
I'm talking about Meek Mill and his beef with Drake. Some say Meek lost his woman, his respect, and his career after this. I don't agree, but here's the story. You know Meek.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? That guy.
It was just before summer 2015. Meek is on top of the world. He's dating the biggest female rapper in the game at the time, Nicki Minaj. Some people are calling them the new Jay-Z and Beyonce. And of course, Drake and Nicki are good friends. But Meek's about to see maybe he can't trust them. Now, Drake and Meek drop a song, Rico, for Meek's new album. It's going crazy, it's a banger, and ends up becoming the biggest song on the album. So Meek hits Drake and he's like, bro, we should play this live on Nicki's tour. It would go crazy. Which, yeah, it would have been insane. I say would have because Drake hits him back and he's like, let's lock in, twin. And then he doesn't show up. Now, allegedly, it's at this point that Meek takes a second look at the song Rico. Because on the song, Drake has a line. To me, the girl of your dreams is probably not a challenge. Meek's girl is Nicki, and Dream Chasers is his label. So Meek's like, who, you talking to me? On my own song? And to make matters worse, Meek's album comes out and Drake does nothing to promote it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where it all fucking explodes. Meek gets his Twitter fingers ready and says this. Drake don't write his raps. Everyone knew, but nobody said anything. I wouldn't have even had his feature had I known. And here's the dude that wrote it, Quentin Miller. Now in hip hop, claiming to write stuff you don't is a cardinal sin. And it's not confirmed Quentin wrote everything, but that's beside the point. Because to this day, Meek calling him out for ghostwriters has stained his reputation. So you might think, oh, Drake ends up losing his battle. That's what I thought would happen back then, but that is not what happened. Now, first, Drake didn't say anything. But only 2 days later, he drops a diss track called Charged Up. Now, this was Drake basically being like, what's up? Do something. Nothing insane yet, but he had picked up the pen and stepped into the ring. So then Meek says nothing. It was crickets. Remember, he's still on his Girls World Tour. And it was at this point that Drake maybe made the best move of his entire career. He drops another track called Back to Back. Not only does this attack Meek at all the right angles, it slaps. It's a summertime anthem. But then Meek finally says, enough. It's time to get my get back. Now you have to remember, at the time, Meek had everything on paper that it would take to defeat Drake. But finally, Meek drops, and yeah, that shit flops. And besides the point, it was already too late. Drake had hit you with literally back-to-back tracks, actually had great angles, so much so it pushed past the ghostwriting jab. But the story isn't over here. You see, Nicki ends up leaving Meek. Allegedly, his label then tells him to not drop any more music, and people were saying they were losing respect for him. And to top it all off, Meek gets arrested on some BS charges. Now, this sounds like the end, but thankfully, this is where things turn around for Meek. The community speaks out on the BS charges. He eventually gets out of prison. Then, the unthinkable happens. Meek and Drake squash the beef and come back with their song together, Going Bad, which is now Meek's highest selling song of all time. Follow for more stories like this.